Well, 20 states plus the District of Columbia have enacted laws that allow for some people to carry medical marijuana as long as they have a doctor's recommendation. But here in the state of Texas, any amount of medical marijuana is against the law. However, some advocates and veterans argue that it could be beneficial for things like PTSD. A soldier's return home is a moment celebrated by that person's family, friends, and community members. But for many soldiers, it is just the beginning of the battle. Approximately 30% of the men and women who have spent time in war zones experience PTSD. The Center for Therapy and Recovery of the VA has a holistic approach to treating and working with veterans who experience PTSD. They say treatment is complicated and requires a different perspective than that of a regular illness.
It's called the silent wound, and I like to think of it more as an injury rather than an illness in a way.
Many with PTSD relive nightmares, have difficulty sleeping, and feel detached or estranged from people after experiencing or witnessing a life-threatening event. New research suggests that medical marijuana could help veterans combat these symptoms.
It's doing the studies, it's doing the test runs, and seeing the benefit with these patients. When you have thousands of soldiers or individuals that suffer from PTSD that say this improves, this helps me. It's a voice we have to listen to.
But the VA says there is no definitive reason to believe marijuana could be more effective than already prescribed medication. They say alcohol and drugs mask the issue instead of confronting them.
The best response is in stop drinking, they don't use drugs, and avoidance mechanisms that are chemical based.
But what do the veterans think? In their words, medication is the first step to recovery, but it can have an immensely negative backlash.
It helps a lot. It does help when you get put on meds. It's just you don't want to get thrown into so many different types where they counteract with each other. They just make you a zombie.
Edward Garcia and David Bridges, veterans from Vietnam and Iraq respectively, say that each case of PTSD is individual. There is not a blanket remedy. But if medical marijuana helps, soldiers should be allowed to use it.
When I get excited, I need something to calm me down real quick. I can't wait 4 or 5 days for those pills to work. And marijuana seems to do that.
I do support the fact that if it would help, put somebody, if it would help an individual or whatever to calm them down. Because a lot of times it's anxiety.
Any possession of marijuana in the state of Texas, even for medicinal purposes, is illegal as it is still considered a Schedule I drug. However, local attorney Jeff Blackburn says it is defendable, but he believes the state must make significant changes to allow for its use.
What we need, for starters, is to decriminalize possession, and we need to create a defense expressly based on medical necessity for people that really need it. Then we ought to just let jurors decide.
Though it may not be on the ballot box this year, advocates and opponents say the issue of legalizing marijuana could be coming to Texas soon. Tomorrow night on the second part of Medicating War with Marijuana, we'll be taking a closer look at PTSD to better understand how the drug could potentially help the symptoms of PTSD, while also looking at whether or not the state of Texas is close to legalizing the controversial drug. Chelsea Goss, Pronews 7.